What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. Today we're talking about LoRa, Long Range Meshtastic. Meshtastic is a off-grid application and software running on the LoRa, at least today, I'll be using T-beam boards for off-grid mesh communication. And yes, I will justify why it's off-grid for all you naysayers out there. Got lots of comments on that. People tell me, this isn't off-grid. You better believe it is. And I'll explain why. Daylight savings, I guess, has made things a little weird. But yep, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we always start. So hopefully not a big issue for everybody, but thanks for watching. Appreciate it. All right, let's get her started. How's it going, everybody? Let's flip it over. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Appreciate you coming out to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Means a lot to me. You taking a time out of your weekend on a Saturday, no joke, to hang out. Yeah, LoRa, right? Long range. It's a mode of communication for Internet of Things type technology, but it's a mesh system, meaning we can take these little inexpensive boards that have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, LoRa transmitters, and we can have them talk to each other. And then by tethering our phones and tablets and other devices, even computers and Wi-Fi, we can send messages and locations. So think of it kind of more or less like APRS in some ways for you ham radio folks. But what makes LoRa so interesting to people is that it is license-free. So today is a bit of a divergence from the ham radio stuff. We will be talking about something that is license-free. So links are in the description for all the hardware and the software links that you're going to need. There is a lot there, and I'll try to work through it as we go along. But just keep in mind, this is a inexpensive board. You probably need more than one, and I'll explain why as we go along. But if you need a kind of a 101 briefing on what this all is, I've posted 2 videos now on these devices and explaining how to use them. But today is going to be how to set them up once you have them running, right? Once you have them in your sweet little palm, you throw a battery in it, start it up, and then after that point, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, I'll make sure I show you the hardware and explain how the software works. All right, 970 Hobby says we are working on a spin on APRS using LoRa. Yeah, you could probably do that. So right on. Okay, I did crack a beer. I am drinking a... Oh, this is going to be great on the green screen. It is a Ja Alai or a Ja Alai or something along those lines. It is a IPA, just a simple IPA today. Pretty good though, nice and more on the citrus side. All right, Shane from Colorado says hi. Lou says all hail the Trash Crew. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, so let's hit some websites really quick. Some things you need to know, and we'll walk through it. Guys, Ham Radio Crash Course, hamtactical.com is the home of our merch. Keep an eye on this. We did post 2 shirts a couple weeks ago, Hunting Poda and the, oh, where'd my bees, or the I'm Not Allergic to Bees shirt? It's disappeared. There they are. Allergic to bees or not allergic to bees, you kind of have to watch the podcast to get that reference. But keep an eye on hamtactical.com because we are going to start a thing we're doing for the holidays. We have coordinated with a local coffee roaster, and we are going to make a Ham Radio Crash Course Give It the Beans bag of coffee that Leia is working right now. So hopefully you'll see some updates to hamtactical.com as we go forward with that. But if you like coffee, this is the brewer that I normally buy coffee from. They're a local joint, and they're pretty good. And they said they'd work with us on doing something fun. So I'm going to get into communication with them. We're going to work on some flavors and stuff. And yeah, Give It the Beans coming soon. Again, another reference to the Ham Radio Crash Course podcast, which if you're not following, you can go to hamradiocrashcourse.com, and on the right-hand side is the link to the podcast, and wherever you podcast, however you podcast, whatever you use for an RSS reader, if you search Ham Radio Crash Course, you'll find us, so we appreciate it. And yeah, that's a podcast I do with my wife. Okay. All right, so I'm going to walk through some of this stuff just to give everybody a baseline. There's a link in the description. These are the T-beam devices that I recommend you check out. They run $27 to $30-something. I purchased 3 of them. It took about a month to get them. So yeah, you can get them on Amazon, but they'll be like twice the price. Just make sure that you're getting the T-beam. You want version 1.1 is generally what you're looking for. And if you are in North America, you are looking for the 915 megahertz radios. That's what you want there, okay? It comes with an antenna. It comes with everything you need, including a screen. But you have to solder the screen on. Go watch my last video on these T-beams to get an idea of how to do the soldering. I think it's very easy. I know some people don't think it's easy. If that is the case, maybe talk to somebody who is a bit better with soldering and work with them, okay? I mentioned this because I'm going to be using this tablet on the video today. This is a Lenovo Tab M8, and if you want to see that in action, I did another live stream just going through all the myriad of things I can do with this tablet. It's like $100. Yeah, it's exactly $100. You can connect your RTL SDR dongles to it and run software that is for Android. You can use it as a WinLink node, basically a WinLink application to connect to different gateways in your area. It runs packet. There's a radio control application. There is APRS Droid is what it's called. Anyway, I'll link the video for those of you that watch after the fact. But if you search, I think the title of the video was why you need an Android tablet for ham radio. I cover like 5 or 6 different things you can do with just this inexpensive tablet. I will be using 2 tablets that are Android today, and then I'll show you on my iPhone as well. I want to mention, if you're going to get a tablet, this is the only tablet I recommend that is a value price that works, because I have another even cheaper tablet that you can get at Walmart for like $50-$60. It's garbage. It's really bad. So I don't recommend you go pick up that that tablet. Do not buy that tablet. I'll show it to you. You'll see it in a second here, but don't get that tablet. All right, so links are in the description of this video to the Meshtastic website, and it's got an overview section that covers what you need to do. But most likely, if you buy the version that I linked to from AliExpress and you load the current software on your Android device or iPhone, you'll likely get prompted by the tablet to say, oh, your T-beam is outdated for software. Would you like to update it? And you just click yes, and it goes off and flashes it. It's very simple. Nathan Prince asked, does it have GPS? So yes, these devices do have GPS, and so that will pull GPS data as well, which is nice, because then if you ever set these up as a relay, which is what I have, and we'll talk about that as we go, the relay will actually have its own GPS signal, so you can actually find it if you need to. If it gets misplaced or someone takes it or whatever and it still has power, you can use that capability for GPS. All right, a couple of things I want to mention. I'm not going to show you how to do this on. Actually, we may. I take that back. I might show you how to do this. There's still some funkiness with getting the Android loaded onto the tablet successfully. It got pulled from the Google Play Store, so the simple approach for loading the software is not really there, but you can side load it. And side loading, I think, is great. I wish iPads would do this. Side loading is where you download whatever the current build is, and then you just install it on the tablet through the browser. You just click on it, it'll download it, and then you install it. It's very simple. I found it was simple anyway, but we'll walk through it. You basically go to the GitHub page for whatever the current version is, which at the time of recording this episode is 1.231, which is the beta version, and you download that APK file, that .apk file, and run it on your tablet. And that's all there is to it. If you do have a previous version of it already loaded, you will need to unload or uninstall that version of the software before you install the new one. And hey guys, while you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm over my head, I don't know what's going on, I will try and take your questions in the chat. Just make sure you do @Ham Radio Crash Course and tag it to me. I'll also get a big notification of it, and I'll try and help you out. But if I can't get to your question and you still have more questions, or just any ham radio questions, I highly recommend you join us over on the Discord. We'll be doing a Discord after chat this evening after the live stream, where we try to answer all your questions. other ham radio YouTubers show up there, and we try and take your questions. And we've got a lot of really smart people beyond my capability for sure that will basically say, hey, go do this, that, and the other, and try and get your stuff working. So we're happy to help however we can. That's why the Discord exists, and I hope that helps. Okay, so that's a little bit of the commentary on the Android side of the house. I sideload. In fact, I just updated one of my tablets to make sure that the sideloading was still working. It's working fine, so that's the way to do that. Okay, iPhone. Where did my iPhone go? Okay, never mind. We'll just go to Meshtastic iOS. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so to download the iOS version, if you want to run this on an iPad or an iPhone, you will need to run what is called Test Flight. The link, again, is in the description to the Meshtastic website under Overview. If you go to Meshtastic iOS, you'll get a link here to testflight.apple, and you'll get this app that shows up if you do this on your device. Test Flight is a sandbox beta type environment for setting up software. If you're a developer, this is how you would beta test your software on iOS environment. So you load Test Flight, and then Meshtastic will be an app you load within Test Flight, and you can run the beta. All right, what else? Okay. This was linked mainly for curiosity. A lot of people asked me about the encryption of Meshtastic. So if you'd like to go into a deeper dive, well, a bit under the surface, not so deep, but into the world of what they use, this is an AES 256 security that they use for their encryption between these nodes. So yes, your data is encrypted, and that's why I'm going to do this video, is to explain how to share the channels between devices. Because if you don't do this, like if you don't get linked to a channel from the person that's setting up these nodes, like if you had a node and I got a node and my neighbor's got a node, if we don't all link our channels, even if we name them all the same, they're not going to talk because the encryption keys are going to be different. So there is a process to syncing the encryption, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. It's not very difficult, but you got to go through it anyway. Last but not least, there is now an ATAC plugin for Meshtastic. Well, there is an ATAC plugin for ATAC to communicate with your Meshtastic device. So yes, you can leverage the Meshtastic with ATAC and your Android tablet or whatever it is you're using. I have it loaded. I have played with it a bit. It's basically giving you the same functionality I'm going to show you right now in what I find is a little bit more heady. ATAC takes a little, the civilian version of ATAC, I want to be very clear, is a little bit harder to negotiate and deal with, but it's still cool. I don't have a major use for it right now, but I'm still going to set it up, and I'm going to go through that process. And if I get to the point that I think I need to show you something or talk to you about something, I'll definitely make a video on it so that you know about it, because I don't want people to be confused, misunderstood, or anything else. Reminder, all the links for all this stuff that I just posted is in the video description. I also posted the link to Amazon to a set of upgraded antennas, which I'll show you the difference for the T-beams that we're talking about for the 915 megahertz space. I have not tested them, but I'll show you the difference between the stock antenna and the upgraded antenna, and we can go from there. I do have an exterior antenna I purchased that is going to go along with my relay box once I get set up, and I'm really excited to do that because I think my ranges are going to go through the roof. But anyway, Heroic Taquito. We were just having taquitos yesterday with the kids. Sends a super chat. Because of you, I tested up to general last Saturday. Today, I am making a tape measure Yagi as I type this. Congratulations, buddy. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Super, super cool. And thank you for the super chat. I'm glad the videos help. That's why we do this, right? All right. So, what are we talking about? Well, let me give you a wide shot here. So we got a couple of devices here. We've got a T-beam in a 3D printed case. I'll show you these on the overhead in a second. Here's my relay box. That's that upgraded antenna. A lot bigger, right? And I got a couple of tablets. Should probably bring my iPhone over here too. All right, let's go to the overhead and start having some fun here. So again, yeah, Heroic Taquito. Congratulations. Sand the paint off before soldering. What are you talking about? All right. Let's put the old cat cup right there. Okay, so we have Lenovo's on the left. Total trash Walmart tablet is on the right. Talk about something clapped out of the box. Like, it comes clapped out. This is a total... Don't even give this to a child. This thing is so bad. We are focusing today on the Android, but these T-Beam devices, they will work on Wi-Fi. And I was actually just connecting via USB. I was connecting to my clapped out Toughbook here. And they also connect over serial, so you have that option as well. And that does work. You can do all the fun stuff that you'd want to do that way. So let me log into this tablet here, and we'll start the first thing. I'll just show you how this all works. So the big thing to note is that these devices, when left in their default configuration, want to go into sleep mode. They want to have periodic times of an extended sleep, and then a coming up for air, waking up, sending out a couple little pings that they're alive and this is their location, and then send any messages that they need to do. That's what they do. So whenever this is, let's say this is yours, right? This is your node, right? Your tablet here and your node, they live together, and this is like your neighbor's node and tablet. So we're just going to pretend these are geographically separate, but because otherwise this is going to get kind of confusing. But the idea here is that you have each tablet, each device has to have a node of their own. And then if you want to, you can have a relay node like this one in a waterproof box that is the broker of communication to get you extra long distance. And this relay on a 20-foot pole is how I was able to drive with this node 3 miles away from this node and still send messages back and forth. And I didn't even top it out. I don't even know what the max range is on these yet, at least in my suburbs area. But Andreas Spies, right? Great YouTuber out there. Make sure you go sub to him. Andreas Spies did a test where he went over 150 kilometers. Okay, so what I have right now is I'm going to click the on button, which, you know what? Here, let's do this. I have a 3D printed ABS case that I made. I'm just going to take it out of there. Otherwise, this might get a little confusing. There are 3 major control buttons on the T-Beam board. There is a user button, which is this guy right here. There is a reset button, and then there is this power button, which generally you only use these 2. If you click the user button, which is the center button, it will kind of wake the device from sleep. And so if you click the user button, come on now. If you click the user button, it'll take you through a menu system of all the nodes it hears. I'm moving this out of the way in case it drops me. So there's another status message of who it hears. It hears KI6NAZ home, HRCC prime, and then they've got a relay in there somewhere, but it's been a while. And yeah, I'm glad I moved that out of the way because one of them will show you your GPS. So if you don't want people to know the GPS, pull it off screen before you show it. Anyway, this is like the current status window, okay? And if I click the reset, I'll just do that now. By the way, my application is currently connected in the background here. I'll show you how to do that here too, but let me go through the rest of the hardware. So there's Meshtastic 95954, and I'll show you really quickly. If you're ever curious which Meshtastic you're running, you bring it over to that one of the last tabs, and you see that right there. It says 954C, and that's the same guy right there. They match. That's how you basically switch, is if you've got a bunch of these in the same house or whatever, you may have multiple nodes that'll all be trying to talk to each other. And you can only connect to one node at a time via the software. So anyway, that's that. So there's the hardware. If you are going to use these, they run off of an 18650 battery, and you have to have the aerial connected, right? This antenna, before you plug it in. I'm not going to try and chance running it without it. There is a mini or a micro USB, and that micro USB charges the unit and also allows you to connect over serial. And yes, if you plug it into your Windows device, it will most likely populate a driver, but if it doesn't work for some reason, you basically can go to the Meshtastic website, and there's instructions on how to go ahead and get the driver set up so you can connect. Anyway, let's click the reset button. Click the reset button, and it will take a second. And then you get the meshtastic.org. That's the boot screen, and then you're back in. So that's the reset process. Okay. So this guy's on now, right? I've clicked the user button. The screen is illuminated. And over on the tablet side, you can see, hey, K8XG, thank you for the 455. I appreciate it. That 954C right there, that is the Bluetooth device that I have connected. They know each other, and that node is called HRCC Prime. I just named it that. If I wanted to, I can click in here, and I can change that to whatever I want. And I am in the Gear Settings tab on the Meshtastic app. So I just open this on Android, and that's what I'm running. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. However, let's say I wanted to install a new Meshtastic device, or I needed to get them on the same node, etc., etc. I can take my repeater node here, what I call my relay. I reset this. So I'm going to turn it back on. It's just in a default configuration. I click the user button, and I now should see a second mesh device, 2788. That's the one. I'm going to click on it. Ideally, this should then flip over and say, hey, somebody wants to connect. There it is. See the Bluetooth? The blue teeth? 943371. Oh, I took too long. Let me do that again. You click it, it'll say, please pair in Android settings. The pop-up comes up, ideally. I waited too long, and now it flipped back. So let's go to none to disable. Make sure your screen is still on this guy, and then we'll click him again. Come on. There we go. So it's going to say pair and connect. You say pair, and you type in what it says, which is 948689. It changes every time. I had to reset it right now just so that I could get it. It will do its thing. Okay, and now they're paired. And it says right there, 2788. Pairing failed. Okay, let's do that again. I typed that wrong? I think I did. Do it one more time. 642828. Okay. Okay. So it says pairing complete, starting service. This guy is known to this node. The node here, this guy, is known to this tablet as HRCC Relay. I did a hard refresh on this guy before the show, but it says HRCC Relay. Your case, it's probably going to say something completely different. So basically just change this as you need to. You can name this whatever you want. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Now, what you're likely going to find is every time you click on your nodes, that you're going to have to set a channel. And the channel is how you share contact information, like a talk group, for all you guys that are familiar with ham radio. We're going to set up a protected encrypted channel. That's what we're going to do right now. We've got a bunch of these nodes. They're all sitting here. Right? We got all these guys, and I've got the relay next to me. What's going on with this guy? There we go. Oh, I think I clicked the reset button. Anyway, if I click the next tab, which is the little, looks like a speaker, sideways Wi-Fi signal, you can get this QR code. And right now, this node is saying, oh, it's my relay node, but it's on the wrong channel. That should be HRCC as the channel name. Instead, it's saying long, slow V. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, let me back this up a little bit. I can show you. All right. So if I click the little lock right here, that will... Maybe. Come on. Oh, he's not on again. You got to do all this while that screen's lit. If you try and make these changes without the screen lit and without that check mark there in the upper left hand or upper right hand corner, then you can't make active changes. Remember that whole sleep cycle thing? So if this guy is dark, if that screen's dark, click the user button to set this up. You got to do it when it's all lit. So I'm going to click the lock. Ah, okay, now it's unlocked. And now I have options. So I can set the channel as short range but fast, medium range but fast, long range slower, very long range, very slow. What that's likely doing is either a bunch of retransit cycles or it's doing forward error correction between nodes and whatnot. And you basically just are amplifying how long you can go by probably doing a lot of retransmissions. But anyway, so what you can do here is now type in whatever you want. We're going to do test channel, and I'm going to hit check mark. Okay, so now my relay node is set to this test channel, which let me get it. I'll reset it here. Let me reset it. Basically, we've told the node, I want you to be in very long range but slow, and we're going to name it test as the channel name. But these guys are not on test. They're on HRCC or whatever name that I've named it. So we've got to now get all of them talking on the same channel. So we're likely going to have to reset this guy, and I'll show you how to do that. So if I bring it in there. Yep, there we go. So long and slow is connected. I'm still connected to this guy. He's still HRCC relay. But if I tried to send a message, so this is another node. If I tried to just say test, he says he got it. It says test on the little window there. But this guy didn't get it. He didn't get the message because they're not encrypted. They're not talking on the same channel. They're not talking to each other. They're not the same encryption. They're not the same key. That's it. So we got to get them all synced up. And the way to do that is go back to your channel page. And I'm going to start this guy up. He's also running Meshtastic. Okay, now this guy, he's connected to node HRCC home, which is this guy. And that is node, let me get them up. Node 121 or 1214. And it just went away. He fell asleep. 1214. And you can see it says 1214 right there. Okay. But if I go to the little sideways QR code, those QR codes are not the same. They're on completely different networks. This is HRCC channel, and this is long, slow channel. So they don't line up. So how would I, so again, this is neighbor 1, and this is neighbor 2. Neighbor 2 has a channel and a set of nodes that he's got up around the neighborhood or the city. And neighbor 1, he just bought a node and wants to get on the same mesh network as neighbor 2. So neighbor 2 with the built-up mesh network would basically just click the little share button here on the lower right-hand corner. And it's going to say share, and you can share this over Gmail, you can share it over Bluetooth, Currents, you can share it over Discord if you wanted to. But you can also just do nearby, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to click nearby. And it's going to say looking for, and oh, there it is. I just got a notification that I'm trying to get something. So I'm ready to receive. Okay, good. And I want to send it to Hash's tablet. And now it's going to fire that off. I'm going to accept it. So it's like you're airdropping or you're whatever, sending some data between two tablets. And you must open it in Meshtastic. And you can set to just once, fine. Ah, so now it said, okay, now I've got, should be the same channel, maybe, we'll see. You generally have to make sure, I've been talking a lot, but you got to make sure the nodes are all connected when you do this. We may have to do it again with the nodes on. Yes, I want to receive that channel, accept. Oh, okay, so now they match. The QR codes are identical. Ha, message received. Message, hopefully, good. So now neighbor B, or neighbor 1, it doesn't matter, pink neighbor, pink tablet neighbor, wants to send a message to black tablet neighbor, Lenovo tablet neighbor. So his node is on. He clicks it on to user mode. Going to go to the text screen. Make sure this node's on. And while we're on the same channel, go hi neighbor. Oh my gosh. These tablets are not... This tablet is the worst for this. Got it? Jeez. Oh, man. that keyboard is so bad. Anyway, this is on. We're going to hit send. So, he neighbor shows up on this node here, this guy. And ideally, this guy should get a pop-up saying he got it too. We'll wait and see. Is he connected to Hey Neighbor? Hold on. There it is. Unknown username. Well, that's likely because he needs to get sorted out. But anyway, Hey Neighbor came over and it's from this whatever that is. So let's go back here for a second. Let's make sure HRCC relay is known there. This guy is KI6NAZ home. Okay, good. A couple of things else you can do too is when you have your node connected, like this one is, go back into the lock and you can reset the entire thing and just clear it out. Come on. Oh, it's already reset. So we just cleared the channel again. So you can do this whatever you want, but if at the same time you want to go back, same deal. Click the little share. Let's lock that again. Accept. We'll do nearby. I'll do this a bit faster while everything's on. That'll make things a little bit easier. I went slow there so I could explain what I was doing, but got to go a bit faster. There you go. And because it's a QR code, like you can do exactly the same thing, but use the camera on your tablet, which I believe the way to do that on this guy is you double tap it. Is that right? Yeah, there you go. All right. This is kind of a potato camera, though, so I don't know if it's going to actually get it. We'll see. It didn't even prompt. Okay. Some camera and devices are going to acknowledge QR codes, and some are not. So whatever. But that's an option, too. Okay, so now we've got two nodes, two neighbors that are intercommunicating and talking. So now we want to make sure that our relay here, or ideally, this guy goes back to being the relay, the one that's in the box. So we're going to take him. We know he's connected on the channel. We'll double check that. Yep, he's on HRCC. Let me focus that in for you so you can see it. There it is. Hey, Matt Denny, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. Anyway, there it is. So he's on the same channel. So this guy's ready to go. Even if you disconnect your tablet from this guy, he's on the network. He's happy. He understands the channel. He's got the encryption. So you can close this box, connect it to a solar panel, whatever you want to do. He's good to go. So now you can put him on the roof, put him on top of a pole, whatever, with the upgraded antenna. By the way, here I told you I'd show you the difference between the upgraded antenna and the stock antenna. There's the difference between the two. Pretty big difference. Again, I don't have any evidence of what the performance is yet, but I will test that out in the future. Okay, so now he is doing his own thing. Let's go back to neighbor one's his tablet again, turn on the T-beam. This guy got the message, "Hi neighbor," because he's on the same channel as the HRCC channel. But we want to connect him up on the same tablet. So 954C, 954C. I'll click on him. And now they are connected. So if I have done this correctly, I'll go back. So test. He just picked it up. He was storing the message for him. He just got it. Test to all nodes. Send. Test to all nodes showed up. I'll put him on the side. Neighbor 1 got test to all nodes. And it shows up on neighbor 1's messaging app right there, test to all nodes. And the relay got test to all nodes. Question in the chat. Michael Simpson says, "How will it hold up to heat?" Good question. I don't know that yet. I haven't got it up on the roof. When I put it up, I'm gonna connect it to a solar panel, and I'm gonna put the solar panel on top of the box that has the node in it to protect it from the heat. Hey, thank you, Christiana, for supporting via joining on YouTube. Appreciate it. Yes, Michael Simpson says SoCal is still in 90 degrees. Yeah, it's really hot out here. Okay, now there is more to this. There's a tab I didn't show, which is the map. Let me take this off for a second. Let me see how zoomed in it is, because, yeah, that's what I thought. I'll just show it like that. So if you click the map, which is right there, all my nodes are right there. I could zoom in and it would give you a very close proximity of exactly where my house is, but I'm in Cerritos, California. And they're all talking to each other and exchanging location data, which you get when I was doing the test. You could see that I was, 3 miles away from my home, from the other nodes. It was really nice to be able to see that information when I came back and to see the map. So yes, you do get that location information, and it is GPS. So all the devices are GPS. Some nodes are not all GPS. There are many LoRa nodes that will work with Meshtastic, and the website, the Meshtastic website, will go into greater detail of devices that will do it. Hey, the Carries, thank you so much for the 357, one of my favorite numbers. Appreciate that. Eclectic, fun, and good co while soldering. Hey, right on. You have to tell me what you're soldering. So the location is helpful. It does give you more information on what you're connected to, what you can see. And as you flesh out a mesh network, oh, my light just went out. There we go. So yeah, as you flesh out your network, you will start to see where your nodes are when they go offline or whatever, because their batteries die or their solar stopped working effectively, all that. So it gives you a good information of which nodes you need to touch base with. There are plenty of solar options out there that can keep these up and running. And there are more information on the Meshtastic forums as far as more information of how you do that. Christiana says, "Josh, I do both Patreon and YouTube." Hey, appreciate that. Thank you so much. I do more over on the Patreon side, and the YouTube side is generally for seeing the videos early. Much like Patreon, but there's more going on over there. Like yesterday, I just did a meetup with the patrons that were available. We all hopped on Zoom and had a lot of fun talking. The Tech Crisis says, "So can you hook it to a computer and transmit data?" You can transmit messages and location. It is not for data. It does not replace Wi-Fi in any way. This is for Internet of Things sensor data. So you can exchange serial data. If you had a if you had a thermometer or something of that kind in a shack somewhere away from the home, you could have these devices connect and communicate over LoRa. That would be standard LoRa WAN type communication. This is specifically Meshtastic, which Meshtastic is kind of like what GoTenna does. This is a ad hoc mesh network similar to GoTenna. That's what this is designed to be. GoTenna being a off-the-shelf service that you buy, and they're like $175 for 2. This is a totally buy a cheap little device for $25, connect it to a phone app, and that's all you need. It is not packet. It's not packet radio. RQ asks, is there encryption in the protocol? Yes, these are all encrypted. All communications between these devices are encrypted. So you have to, going back to what I started out the conversation with, I kind of already explained this. Oh, this guy's on the wrong channel. Interesting. QR code's a bit different. That's probably fine. We can test that, though. Let me go back here. Hold on. Turning him on. Connected. Little arrow implies that it's connected. I'm going to go send all again. You can see the little cloud. When it's a hollow cloud, that means the message is processing. When you get the check mark, that means that the message has been sent. And you get send all here because it was received. This was an encrypted message that was sent. Not serious encryption, but it was encrypted. Vinland Alchemist asks, is VoIP possible? No, the VoIP is not possible. That is far too much bandwidth for the type of data that these are pushing. That's really not the design of LoRa either. That's really not what it's for. So this is for exchanging information and location of people, things, devices in an off-grid state. And yes, it is off-grid because the communication method is via these wireless devices. The devices are just talking to each other. It doesn't require a network of any kind. They're just communicating to each other. Again, I tested this personally up to 3 miles using the stock antennas. And that was not even maxed out. And there are people who've done well over 150 kilometers at this point. Line of sight. This is all line of sight communication. 915 megahertz. Felix Farquharson says maybe an electrical component bug out video. Oh, interesting. Like what spare components you should have on hand. Is that what you meant, Felix? Reply with that. Tag me in it, and I'll check. He3301. No, Andreas Spies went 150 kilometers. Yeah, the tech crisis says strap it to a cow and watch it wander around the field. Yeah, the technically your cow would be a relay. Okay, Felix, I get what you're saying. That's a good idea. Now there is a mode that you can put these into for connecting to Wi-Fi, which may be a really smart way to go if you have a relay that's outside of Bluetooth range that may be, 20 feet above your home. If you can still hit it on Wi-Fi, that might be difficult. With that said, you can connect it to your Wi-Fi and you can go to a local website that's local web app that's running on the node, and you can change settings that way. That is a new feature that just got updated in one of the current beta releases, and it's not fully functioning yet, but that will be built out in the future, so keep that in mind. Bronix says, can you not share location? I believe the answer is you can turn that off. You can turn the GPS off, but it's encrypted, so I'm less worried about that. All that information that I showed on the map, the map of the devices here is encrypted because it's still within the channel. Let me see if I can turn that off. I don't think you can. You could get the nodes that don't have GPS, or you can just depend on the encryption, which should be good enough for most situations because, again, it's just a little squawking of packets. They would be spending a lot of time to try and decrypt your transmissions to make that work. I just don't see a point, particularly on the 915 band where there's a ton of devices that are all doing similar things. Yeah, if you don't want the GPS, you can just get the units that don't have the GPS chips. And that's one way of doing it. In fact, I have one that I'm working on that you can get without. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the last thing that I wanted to mention. So you get these all set up, and let's say this one's asleep, your neighbor B is asleep, your relay box is asleep, and your primary node here is asleep too. The only thing you need to do if you want to send a message is basically they're updating this all the time. This is a feature set that's likely going to go into a later build or a newer build. When you want to send a message, you go up, bring up the message channel. Again, it's the little tab at the top there. You click the middle button for user control. It turns the screen on. Once this goes to check mark, it means it's connected, which it is right there, and then you can send your message. You got it. And then all the other nodes, once they start receiving the packets, will turn on. So the only thing that has to be on, like user activated on, is the one that's doing the transmission of the original message. So just keep that in mind. Likely that'll be something that will be changed in the future, but that's just the way it is right now. All right, so Michael Simpson sends a super chat. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really do. And Off-Grid Pete says, looking forward to trying these out. Thanks for the info. Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept, and it's something that's, you know, getting more and more use, and more people are actively using it. It's cool too because the developers are all on that Discord, and I was literally in there for, like an hour and a half today, and I was connecting to that tablet there, that Lenovo tablet. And I was using serial connection, USB serial, to update the unit, set different settings. You can query nodes that your primary node can receive. You can do all that like right off of the unit, which is super cool. Hey, Evan, thank you so much. He says, thank you for taking the plunge and introducing to us this cool technology, Josh. Top tier content. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's I guess you could say it's fairly limited, but at the same time, it's like, well, what are most HT radios? Fairly limited. And APRS is doing exactly what this is doing. The only thing that APRS adds is services that generally are built off of a connection to the internet. So when we send SMS messages to our loved ones via the SMS GTE gateway, well, what is that doing? That's leveraging the internet to do that. Okay. There's no reason that this couldn't do that. It would just have to be done a bit differently. This is like proper, your small group of friends makes a network and can send messages. This is not a, we're all going to get on the same party channel and talk. I guess you could set that up, but that's not really what it's designed to do. This is like literally small group communications, off-grid comms for a limited set of people. That's kind of the point. Jared Watson sends a super chat. Hey, thank you very much, Jared. I appreciate it. Do you know anything about using networks like IOTA with LoRa mesh networks? Internet of Things, I'm assuming. Internet of Things. IOTA, like, well, so IOTA is Islands on the Air, which is a ham radio term. You're talking about Internet of Things. Yeah, so that case, you're going to use something called LoRa WAN. And those devices are all interconnected together. And yes, there is a website that you can track those different devices and the sensor data they put out. So Nick Smith says, "What's the battery life? Expandable? Absolutely, it's expandable." So let's pull this up again. The raw board is just this guy. So if you want to have a different set of 18650, multiple 18650s, use a battery bank. By the way, it'll accept a battery bank. I do run these with a A battery bank? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Most of them will also take solar panels. So if you want to connect a solar panel to it, you just have to have the right charge controller. Ideally, so the T-beam that you see there, the T-beam will not take and handle the charge from the solar panel. It won't forward that into the battery. You will generally need to have a charge controller, a battery, and then feed the power into the T-beam. That's the way that works. IOTA. This Meshtastic does not work with whatever the like Helium is one of the services that does cryptos. That's not for this. That's a different thing. And with that said, LoRa is running on. That's what they use for Helium. I'm not familiar with IOTA, but yes, that's how that would work. It's LoRa at that point. Oh, yeah. Overarching question, though, and Ethan kind of already answered it. The T-beams that I have, they are running their GPS on. They do have a wake and sleep cycle. The sleep cycle runs for 900 seconds, and the wait cycle by default is 300 seconds. And I'll get about 2 to 3 days on a charge out of them. But you can always, like I said, have a larger battery bank, or you can run off of a solar panel. The forum for Meshtastic, which is, again, linked off of that overview. In fact, let me pull that up. So if you go up at the top here to forum, click on forum. There's plenty of information in here explaining things, and we can just do a search. Where's that search? Hey, where did the search go? Oh, there it is. You can do solar. Various solar panel tests and conclusion. So, hey, check it out. All kinds of... Oh, those are real cheap panels. This guy built up his own solar panel. All kinds of different setups here. This guy was straight up breaking yard lamps for solar panels. And he's got some kind of bodged together device here. That's his LoRa device. And walking through some of the stuff there. So, yeah, there's plenty of stuff you can pull up. Let's go to... This guy's actually got a controller there. That's a fairly... Where is it? There's a couple of ones in here for solar. So anyway, you can do this on your own if you're so inclined. And that will be the next foray that I go into, is solar powering this. Because I do want that relay... I'm going to be extending my mast that's on the roof a little bit, my kind of utility mast that I put all kinds of stuff on, which includes my Arden mesh network. Is my beam antenna is on that mast. I need to bump that up about another 10 feet or so. And once I do that, then I'll have the relay box connected to it. Ideally, hopefully, I can connect to Wi-Fi with that. Otherwise, that baby is just going to be a permanent relay, and he's just going to sit up on the roof, and then that's it. Do the T-beams have to be on the same frequency? Well, there's no... So, Matt, that's a great question. I did talk about this briefly in the video that I shot. These devices are using spread spectrum, or they're using a channelized approach where there's multiple channels and they kind of hop around. That's basically what spread spectrum is. And you can set them differently if you want to. You can actually go in and change what channels they use when you want to use them. So they are not on the same channel. They jump around a lot. They have to be on the same channel, like I showed you, the HRCC channel that I made. They don't have to be on the same frequency. And in fact, you just let them sort that all out. Do the nodes have to be on the same channel to bounce messages? Meaning, let's say person A wants to send a message to person B who is out of range, but person C is in the... Yeah, they all have to be in the same channel because that's the encryption information. Again, let me go back here so I make it clear what's going on. So again, neighbor A is on the left, neighbor B is on the right. They are on the same channel, and you can view that by going here. It says HRCC, HRCC. See, they have to be on the same channel to be able to intercommunicate. Can you see that? Why is this tablet? This tablet is trash. Don't buy this tablet. But it says HRCC. And I did share the QR code between them. They don't look the same now, but it is the same information, and they are interoperable at this point. But yeah, the encryption is shared. The encryption key is shared when you do this app-to-app transfer thing. So you have to do that, and that's what allows them to communicate. So this is not, guys, remember, this is not ham radio. This is not like, hey, everybody, I got my LoRa board on, CQ, let's talk on the net that we just built. That's not what this is. This is like you and your buddies want to communicate if the grid is down. Don, what does the Q? I already answered this. That's the channel. The channel has the information of what encryption to use, what the name of the channel is, and so that they all use the same channel. That's how they talk. You all have to be on the same channel for them to communicate. That was the whole point of that sharing thing, remember? In case, what the hell? We'll do it again. We'll do it again. We'll do it live. Okay, again. So, 2 tablets, right? Let's say they're 2 nodes connected to each other. Let's say they're not, right? Let's go ahead and reset this guy again. I'm going to reset him. So I'm going to reset the channel. We're going to clear it out, right? So this node, neighbor A, he accidentally reset his stuff. Maybe he didn't. Oh, I got to turn him on. Hold on. So he turns on his node, waiting for the check mark. Oh, did I switch him? What just happened? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this guy, let's reset it. Yep, reset. Gone. Blowed it out. Gone. So now this guy just got reset. No channel here. These are not the same. They're not connected anymore. If I go back to test here, let's do a test message. This guy will not get it. It says test, but because that was the last thing I sent. Hold on. Linking channel. Is this guy tired? Is he had to run out of batteries? Oh, that one's restarting really fast. It goes down quickly. I'm gonna have to plug him into a charger. Anyway, so they're not sharing messages now. They're not linking channel was not seen over here. So I need to share this channel to this guy who just reset his channel. So the way you do that is either take a screenshot, send him the QR code, and open it with a tablet that isn't a potato. Or you can use the little 3. Can you guys see that down here? Right here? The share button, universal symbol for sharing. Sharing is caring. Click on that guy. So that pops up this screen, and it's for sharing your Meshtastic information. This has to be shared because it contains all the information about this channel that you're connecting to. So I'm going to say nearby. So it's going to use nearby Wi-Fi or whatever, and it's going to say, okay, I'm looking for someone, anyone, and it's going to find this guy. Hey, and it found my tablet, this guy. I'm going to click on it. Okay, he's going to try to connect, and then watch over here. Waiting for device to accept. Hey, there it is. This guy is trying to connect to this guy. You click OK. So these guys the tablets just talk to each other. The tablets just talk to each other, exchange channel information. Now when I go back to... I'll do that again. We're going to do share nearby. Ideally, this guy should see it right now. So he's sharing. Yep, I accept. We're going to say just once. Oh, is this crapped out? Okay. All right, this got crapped out. Let's get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Do that again. Meshtastic. Still reset channel. See, this is what happens. We're on the cutting edge here, guys. Hit nearby. He sees my tablet. Remember, he's seeing this tablet. There it is. Accept. Fine. We already did it now, Don. Don, I'm gonna get you, Don. This is all done. I went back to show you. And look what you've done to me, Don. Yeah, accept. Good. Good? Are we good? Are you good? You son of a... Ayah. Alright, last time we got devices on. Anyway, I think my problem was I didn't click the T-beam devices, but... Yes, accept. Okay, geez, there we go. So he accepted, Yeah, everybody's accepted. We're all, yep, there we go. I think that was my problem, is I didn't have my T-beam turned on. Make sure you click it so it's on when you do that. So now I'm going to say, okay, I got it. So this should go from this guy to this guy via all of our little nodes we got here. Again, empty cloud means it hasn't been sent, or the T-beam hasn't received it. You already got it. It's right there. Okay, I got it. See that? So that was it. That was a long way around it, but we got it. And there's the check mark implying that it was received on the other end. So good, we were successful. All right, bringing it over here. Let's go back here for a second. All right. So I hope that made sense, Dawn, but I know where I can find you after this. So we can talk if you didn't get it. Oh my gosh, what is this? They got me like 2 beers. One of them was an IPA that I just had, which is a good IPA. This is like some kind of pink something. Is this a beer? What just happened? Hold on. Thank you for subscribing, Brian Tibbetts. Appreciate it. This is the Sierra. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Sierra Nevada, Wild Little Thing, slightly sour ale. That thing came out pink. Whew. All right, so hit me up. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes here at Ham Radio Crash Course. Oh, this is pretty good. It's definitely on the sweet side, though. Is it ale, though? Wow. Hit me up right now at Ham Radio Crash Course with your questions, and I'll try and answer them / demonstrate if I need to. But we can do this in longer form on the Discord after chat. So I'm going to Discord after this, so you guys can follow me on over there. I think it might have grapefruit in it, Don. Maybe. I'll figure that out in the after chat. I think I would be 100% down with the pickle beer, to be honest with you guys. I'm a total fan of pickles. I may even just take pickle juice and pour it in a beer just to try and replicate the flavor. Jason was the one who was talking, and he's in the chat. What's up, Jason? He was drinking all this pickle beer in the live streams, and people were like sending super chats for him to drink, and I'm thinking to myself, I'd just drink it because I probably love it. Or the ghost pepper beer I'm drinking, I'm like, you don't have to send any super chats. I'm just going to drink this. I like it. Do an episode on... Oh, okay, JMO. Okay, I got the question. Do an episode on headsets and microphones. I'm so confused. Well, the microphone goes in the microphone port, and the headset goes in the speaker port. I hope that helped you. No, we can do something like that. Although I'm not a big headset user guy. I do... Well, maybe that would be worth it for the video then. Of when do I go headset versus just depending on the radio speakers? There is a time when I do that, particularly if I'm doing portable, particularly Summits on the Air when it's loud and windy. Derek, I will absolutely do another satellite, your antenna solutions for your home QTH. And in fact, I'm planning on doing one with 1 or 2 more creators that are, let's just say, very antenna friendly. Very big fans of antennas. So we might do get a couple people in. I'll still do the overhead with the green screen where I was using my tablet to kind of do some Madden-esque play-by-plays for what antennas you might be able to run. But man, that was a lot to do that episode. It was a lot of images that I had to run. Scott, K0WAV, like all things with antennas, he asks, T-beams, able to use a cantenna if the cantenna is resonant in the 915 megahertz space? Probably. So you would have to build the antenna to match. Let's see. Derek, hit me up. I'm closing on my house in December. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got this month's full. I've got live streams for the rest of the month that I've got to work on. I'm gonna have some people out too. We've got some fun stuff coming up. But then we can probably do it. That would be fun to do in December, maybe first week of December, second week. Sounds good. Scuba Steve asked the $1,000 question. X6100 video coming soon? Yes. I realized that I didn't hide it. I realized I did notice what was framed before I went to this shot. So yeah, I have an X6100. So far, it's fun. I'll just give you my thoughts from what I've experienced, and I'll tell you what's going on. It is definitely the spiritual successor of the X5105. If you enjoy the X5105 or are thinking about an upgrade to the X6105 and you liked that, you may be interested in that radio. With that said, I believe it is the full production version, but it doesn't have the most up-to-date, what will be released firmware. So I need to do a firmware upgrade on it. Once I get that, then that should quote-unquote activate the stuff that I'm waiting to complete the video on. And I have at least 2 videos that I'll be doing on that radio once I get that. IT guy says, Josh, are you still using that Urban Beam for the main HF antenna? I never bought the Urban Beam. I bought the full 3-element Step IR, baby. That's what I went with. So Urban Beam is a 2-element, kind of like a hex beam. I went with the full 3-element with the dipole middle. And oh yeah, I'm definitely still loving that antenna, and I will likely be doing another video on that coming soon too. Because it's been over a year, I believe, since I put it up, and I want to do kind of you've had this for a year, how do you feel about it? What do you think? We're going to go up on the roof and California sun beating down on it. What's that look like, for the amount of time it's been up there? Any effect? Anything to worry about? All that fun stuff. Dawn. Well, you know what, Dawn? And everybody watching, maybe join over on the after chat, because I got a GSOC and I got the 6100, and I will show you the dimensions of those 2 radios. They are not the same. It is not a GSOC. It is not a GSOC. It is literally a separate physical thing. W9HJ, you might have to just wait and see on that one. Totally different radios, to be honest. It's very hard to compare those 2. Lord Nibla asks, are there more powerful LoRa devices that can be used as a repeater? They are repeaters, right? They're mesh devices that are intercommunicating, right? They're all repeating each other. They're constantly just pinging data off of each other. That's what they do. Ham Radio 2.0 with the hands down comment on the Lab 599. Doesn't have a battery, doesn't have a tuner, all that stuff. The Lab 599 does not have all those things. I think it's a cool looking radio. I think that's like one of the sexiest radios out there, the Lab 599. But does not have all the hot features. I'll tell you what, I still love my 705. It's still like the primary radio I pick up. Absolutely wonderful. Felix Farquharson, that's too hard of a question. I would need to do way more testing with the 6100 to answer that against the KX2. Okay. Elecraft greater than all. Jeez. Ham Radio 2.0, is that actually Jason, or did somebody steal his account for the hot takes? I don't know, man. I don't know if I feel that way. As much as I love the KX2, the battery situation in the KX2, not a fan. I heard, oh, you know what? Thomas Witherspoon told me that they're actually going to do something about that. There's potentially a, not a fix, an enhancement that they may be rolling out for the KX2 for its internal battery. Right now, you can't charge it internally. They're talking about doing something where that is easier. If that's the case, that will bring it up considerably. Scuba Stew, I only have an issue with the 705 when I run a non-resonant antenna. That's the only time you'd run into a problem. If your antenna's resonant, then you're good. All right, so we're going to go over to the Discord after chat. The link is in the description. Please consider joining us over there. It is a lot of fun, and it is a live voice conversation and text. We just have at it. We try and answer your questions right up front, so if you do have questions like the many I'm getting right now, consider joining us over there, okay? Cool. All right, I'm going to play you out. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to say thank you to the patrons. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you so much, Patreon. All my producers out there in particular, but also Brew Crew and all the patrons. And I'll extend that even further to the YouTube members. Thanks so much. I really do appreciate the support. It does help me when Leia asks, why are there these orders from AliExpress coming to the house? That's why. So thank you. I appreciate it. Or why did Josh buy a $60? Like, first of all, I should have known better. Why would you buy a $60 tablet? That is, and from Walmart, that is not a good tablet. But definitely the Lenovo at $100 is fantastic. So definitely, if you are interested in an Android tablet, you might want that Lenovo. All right. But yeah, thank you very much to the patrons. Let's see, what's the next thing? So we had a great meetup yesterday, was with all the patrons. That was a lot of fun. Normally, it's like all of us just kind of hanging out and answering very superficial, like ham radio questions. But man, it went deep yesterday. We were talking about like how are we going to fix ham radio? You know, is there something that the ARRL could be doing more? What is the difference between major demographics in the world of amateur radio? What does the future hold? It was really heady stuff, and I left that, and I went and hopped on to Jason's happy hour, which, by the way, was a lot of fun, and it was also fun, light topic. But then it all started to get really heavy in the commentary. So you guys are you're definitely thinking about some of this stuff, the effects of ham radio in the future, and what is YouTube's involvement in all of that. And I love it. I think it's great, and I appreciate the commentary. Really appreciated the chats on all sides, including when we were running through the Zoom for the patrons. All great stuff. I took a lot of notes, and there will definitely be some videos coming out of that. So I really appreciate all the engagement and the passion of keeping the hobby alive. I mean, the best thing, I'll remind everybody for the few, well, you still got 270-some people watching, but okay, here's when I made that video about ham radio needs more content creators. I absolutely love all the ham radio YouTubers, of course, but the original intention of that was to encourage you, yes, you, to post about ham radio, pictures of your ham radio shack, your activation in the field, on your Facebooks, your Twitter, your Instagrams, your TikTok. Post where the people that know you look at your things, because I want people that know you to see you doing something fun, see the images, and then ask you about it. I appreciate that a lot of people, when they go do a POTA, they don't want strangers coming up to them and asking them lots of questions. But your buddy from work, if he comes up to you, or she, and comes up to you and says, hey, what's ham radio all about? You're going to be like, oh, sit down. In fact, I've got 5 of them. Hold on. Let me, and then you've got no problem breaking the ice. So the best thing you can do is just kind of start putting that out there on the social media that you move around in. Facebook's a great place for that because your family's going to see it, your friends will see it, all people that you have no problem answering their questions about ham radio. So that was the point of that. Anyway, okay, I'm going to the Discord. I'll see you about there in about 5 minutes or so. And I do simulcast that, or I do live stream to Twitch for the after chat. So if you'd like to just watch the after chat without partaking on the Discord, that's fine. You can follow me over at Ham Radio Crash Course on Twitch. That's the way to find it. Okay, I'll play you out with some memes. 73, everybody. Next week's a big week. We're doing that ARRL handbook video series. I'll post a bunch of links to that soon. And I've got a review coming up. And I think next week's stream is going to be really fun. Anyway, talk to you later. See ya. All right, 73, everybody. I'll catch you over on the Discord.